What's up, everybody? It's your boy Angel, showing everybody some love once again. It's been a minute that I've been on here. I want to tell everyone who is waiting for me to respond, apologies. I've been doing a lot of work, helping people out, and then I've been dealing with my own shit. So it's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? And it's real hard to get to everybody. I want to shout out, all the gods, all the goddesses out there. All right. First, I want to shout out my man LV, who's been helping me a lot with the process and the things that I'm doing right now. I want to shout out the people that have been doing this for a long time, like Amen Osiris, Wasil Bay, Rick W, and there's a new guy, which is Harvey Dent. Y'all need to check this dude out. He knows a lot. He's been doing a lot, and a lot of respect. Peace to the gods out there and the goddesses. Now, aside that, I want to tell everybody what's going on. Last time I spoke about the affidavits. I spoke about process servers trying to serve me, this, that, the other. Okay, this is what happened. They didn't serve me, but they said that they served me. So they basically lied, as somebody stated would happen out there. All right, and they said they served me, and so what I did was I got a letter of default. I got that letter, I read it, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to have to do something different, okay? So before we start about what I did, I want to shout out Southern Biker 55, who had his opinion on my process and on the things that I've been doing, and he said that he will serve process anywhere, even at my job. Well, all I gotta say, first of all, Southern Biker 55, thank you for your opinion. Thank you for your input. I appreciate input, even if the input is not exactly positive. It's okay. Everybody has an opinion, and we're here to learn from those opinions and to try to express ourselves best we can. All right. So, if you try to come to my job, being that I am a government agent, you would get locked up. So you can't come to my job. So to all those that try, I just want to let you know, if you come to serve me, you're going to get served. And then you're going to have to answer to that. So the job can't do that. Can't allow it. If I'm avoiding, obstructing, or refusing service, well, let's look at it like this. I have the right to refuse anything. You know what I'm saying? I have the right to refuse any advances you make towards me if you're a woman and I don't like you. I have the right to tell a person I don't want a contract. That's a refusal. And all these things are commercial agreements, commercial, presentments to agree. And if I don't agree, I don't have to accept anything. I can refuse it for cause, as I refused it already. Now, you're talking about warrants. If you have a warrant must be signed by a judge and the clerk of the court. If it's not signed by a judge and the clerk of the court, then that warrant is null and void on its face. So what I got was a commercial presentment. Basically a so-called affidavit of this, that, the other. But in reality, what it is an attorney that's masquerading as a judge. Magistrates are not judges. So anytime a magistrate issues a decree of some kind of paperwork, he's doing it in what's called expedited process. He's trying to fast track things into a way that you don't have a true judicial hearing. You don't have judicial process. You have an executive process, admiralty. So the situation is that you have the right to refuse it. So I want to shout out all the process servers out there. If I somehow offended anybody, Southern Biker, if you've been offended, I didn't mean to offend you, my brother. All right, I'm using a process server right now to serve the magistrate some paperwork, to let the magistrate know that I'm not having it. Since you want to come into my territory, now I'm going to have to go to your territory. That's what I'm letting that magistrate know. So, you state that you want somebody to basically consult an attorney. I would recommend anyone here to never consult an attorney for most of these matters. These matters will not be helped. You will not get no help from attorneys. Attorneys are part of the bar, and they are working in collusion with each other to make money. They want to give controversies. They want you to waste money. And that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to get paid. So they want you to waste money. Learn the law, learn the processes, and fight your own battles. Only the dead need representation. A living man, a living woman does not need representation. They present themselves because they are living. And only the living can speak without representation. Now, I just want to say that, Southern Biker, like I said, no, I don't have nothing negative to say about you. No threats to begin. That's foolish. It's incoherent. It's illogical. Why would we go through that here? This is about knowledge, about spreading knowledge. So, the process was never served. They defaulted me, said that it was served. So now what we're going to do is go to step 2. And I sent them an agreement. I sent them a contractually binding affidavit. And I'm going to read to you guys out there what this says. All right. First of all, I have the receipts, the postal receipts showing that I took the mail that was sent to me, and I responded within 72 hours, as by law. I responded swiftly as return for a cause. No contract, no agreements, no nothing. So that commercial presentment was rejected, as I have the right to do. All right, I have that proof. Do they have proof that they served me? That's what matters. So this is what I did. I wrote a letter. I'm going to skip a lot of stuff, but I'm going to give y'all kind of like an idea what the letter sounds like. Okay? So let me see if I can pull that up for y'all. And this is what the letter says. Basically. Let's see, I'll pull it up. It states, goes like this. It says affidavit of fact and demand. And it says the notice to the principal was notice to agent. Y'all know the rest of that stuff. If you don't, good luck. It talks about what they're presenting, and it says let the known facts be stipulated. That I, my full name, I was never properly served any civil action or claim of a debt. And that any commercial offer that's been made to me from any unknown source has been returned for cause, because I don't recognize them, I don't want a contract, and I did it within 3 days, and I have the numbers of the postal service things, right? And I have a photocopy of said instrument as well. And now I also state that this order of default that has been referenced is not accepted, and that I, and my name and all derivatives of my name don't contract with this so-called magistrate and any other parties that's involved. All right. I further go on to say that I'm not bound to their individual commercial law, and I'm not a creature of legislature. Okay, which means I don't care what their statutes and their rules are. I don't follow them, and I don't belong to them. I'm not part of their court. I'm part of my court. Okay? My court is what matters. All right? My law. Because I'm a foreigner to the U.S. in the sense that I'm outside of their jurisdiction. The U.S. is a corporation, and I choose not to be part of that corporation. All right? So now, I'm not a decedent, meaning that I'm not dead. I'm alive, and I have my own will, my own testament, so that you have to come at me as a natural person. And you see, a corporation cannot sue a natural person. a person, a living, natural person, must be able to sue me. And that means that you have to have a contract, number one. If you don't have a contract, then you must prove tort damages. You must prove that I did something to you, that I injured you in some form or fashion, or that I damaged your property. If we don't have a delicti, a corpus delicti here, a body of evidence, an accuser, then we don't have a crime, and we don't have any contractual breach. All right, folks? Get that through your head. I also say that I've reached the age of majority. In other words, I'm not mentally incompetent. I know what I'm talking about, and I stand as a man of age, and that is competent, right? I don't consent to their individual commercial statutes. I call them state actors and contractors, and I don't want nothing to do with them. I also go on to say that anyone who's caught up with this whole thing is committing a fraud, because I didn't contract willfully with anybody there, and the debt and anything that they do to create harm to me is considered tortuous, all right, and they can be held liable for that. I demand validation of the alleged debt and proper service. They have not given me proper service, and they have not validated it. Now, I also tell them that everybody that's involved, if you cannot serve me, and if you do not produce the proof of this debt that you say I owe you, I'm going to charge you $100,000 for using my name and all that paperwork, because my name is mine, and I have ownership of it. I have first in line ownership through the birth certificate, which I've authenticated through all 3 levels of government, and it's mine, and I own the name now, and I own that certificate. It's equal to the original. Okay, it's been authenticated. So therefore, they have to respect it. Nobody in here, meaning this supposed imaginary court they have, has higher standing in terms of law than myself, because I have the paperwork to prove that. They don't have that paperwork. All they have is he said, she said, blah, blah, blah. All right? So they're going to have to pay me some money. If you drag me any further, I'm going to charge you for this. Okay? You want to make orders, you place orders, orders have to be charged. So for every order you give me, so you're ordering a pizza, I got to charge you the pie. Okay? The pie is $13. You want the pizza, you pay the pie. And it's within 30 days of the breach or the fault of the demand. So they got 30 days to respond. If they don't respond, guess what? You owe me some money. And then I'll have to file liens against them. Now, I also explained that anything that they do right now, that is a violation or is somehow tortuously interfering with me, is concrete harm, meaning that you're hurting me, and I'm going to have to charge you for that too. So if you mess with my money, anything you do can and will be held against you in the court of law, a real court of law, which is an Article 3 court, not an Article 1 court, which is what they got. I further stipulate that the court of this county, all right, and the magistrates must rebut the affidavit against every single thing, point for point, all right, as is stipulated. If they can't rebut every single point of what I just stated, then they fall short. That's how these things work. I got affidavits too. Now I'm demanding that they understand that there's no statute of limitations on fraud, and there's no statutes of limitation on all these things that they're doing, which are criminal. All right? So I demand that they basically collapse this constructive trust, by their numbers, which is operating under a color of law, and it's rebutted at this point. And I demand that everything be withdrawn, dismissed with prejudice, and that I don't consent to none of that, and want proof of any debt collection or any commercial complaint in writing. All this has to be done now. You got to prove this. I go on also to say that I have special instructions for the so-called judge, aka the magistrate, who signed off on this. Ooh, he put his signature down. Guess what? That makes you liable. It's ordered and demanded that he take away all my names or anything that he has that he says is mine. He's to remove that and strike that from record. I didn't give him permission to use it. See, I own all that now. I got it. It's under my control. You don't have authority to utilize my property. It's my property. All right? You don't have the right to touch my property. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge him $5,000 for every single time that he uses my name. And I'm putting that forward right now. So from this point forward, so-called magistrate, attorney, I'm charging you money for using my name. All right? Now, would I win it or lose it? We don't know. But I'm coming at you for some money now. All right? Because you're using my name and I didn't commit a crime. So you're basically misrepresenting and you're creating harm. All right? And messing my reputation also. Because somebody else sees this, they could think, oh, this guy's a problem. All right? So I now make an order that you collapse, vacate, and close everything. All right? And that this so-called magistrate fills out a Form 56. Now, let me tell you what a Form 56 is. A Form 56 is basically a swap of fiduciary trust. Meaning that since this so-called magistrate wants to take my money and utilize it how he sees fit, then he's trying to say that he has power of attorney over me. So since he believes that, hey, I'll be like, all right, here, take it. But you got to sign the paper saying that you are going to pay the taxes for everything. So all my taxes are going to get paid by you. If you want to be my daddy, then you got to pay my school, my tuition. You got to pay all that stuff that, daddies pay for their kids. You got to pay for my food, for my lodging. You got to pay for my car. You got to pay. You assume liability. So here's the paperwork. Fill it out. But if you don't fill it out, I'll gladly fill it out for you. You can sign off on it. Then I would agree with you. Whatever you take out of my pocket, you pay the taxes on everything. You take care of me. You pay all taxes that I owe. You assume liability for the straw man that you want to take over. That's it. If you want to do that, fine. I got no problem with that. See, they're not going to do that though. Because then he's going to have to pay money out of his own pocket. You see, anytime these so-called magistrates come against you and they don't have a judge's lawful signature and order, they're operating under color of law. They're not judges, they're magistrates. They have no judicial power. They have no warrant power. So all this stuff about warrants and I'm going to take your license away, or we may do this, we may do that, that's a threat under the Fair Debt Collections and Credit Acts. Look those up. That is a threat under 1692. Under that statute. That's their statute. They have to follow that. Not me. I'm not a third-party intervener. They are. Right now, that magistrate is acting as a third-party debt collector. He's acting as a tortuous party under fraud and duress to try to get money for somebody else that he says I made a contract with. My thing is, show me the contract, show me the bill, so that I can pay it and be on my way. If you could prove that, we ain't got a problem. You see? But you can't tell me what to do with my chattel and my property. See, my DNA, it belongs to me. It don't belong to the state. So anything that has my DNA in it is my creation. And he who creates it controls it. He who creates it controls it. Keep that. That's a law of equity. He who creates it controls it. You can't tell me I'm the creator of this, but you're going to make me pay this and pay that. You can't make me pay anything. I'm going to make you pay. I'll make you see the light for fucking with me. So, I sent a process server to serve him. See, we know where he's at. We know what court he works at, supposed court. We know what room he's residing in. So he will be served. He don't have no excuses. We sending him this to his job, to where he sits down every day under his assumed bullshit name and title, and he will receive that, and he will be dealt with. See, the thing is, I could sue him much easier than he could sue me. And once you understand you got the power, and you know how to do that, you got the upper hand. Now, what happens if he says no? He says he don't send me back nothing. Guess what? He's in default. Now send him a second affidavit, notice the cure. He don't want to do that? Okay. I give him a third chance. Final affidavit to cure. And if he don't answer that, you get treble damages. You get triple the damages. So that 100,000 becomes 300,000. That 5,000 becomes 15,000 per name, per use, per breach. And now we take you to federal district court and we sue you as an individual. We're not going after the courts. We're going after the person, the living human being that is issuing fraudulent orders. We're coming after you. So you ain't gonna have that, oh, I'm a judge, you ain't shit. And we taking this to another court, to a real high level court, where you're gonna have to prove your position, and I'm gonna have all that proof that I sent this out and you did not rebut it. And if you didn't rebut it, an affidavit unrebutted stands as law. Maybe they'll be lax. Maybe, they'll be like, nah, we're not giving them the win. But I'm going to tell you what, though. You coming to court with me. You going to fight. Because I'm going to fight. Because you see, you started lying now. You got me upset. I'm clean hands. I got paperwork for everything. Does that magistrate have the paperwork? No. You know why? Because they think that we all stupid. They're not used to people like me. You could become that person. You could say, I had enough of this shit. I'm going to study. I'm going to pay somebody to learn. It's okay to pay somebody to learn, man. All right? You're going to pay sooner or later. You want to go to school, you got to pay to go to school. School ain't free here. Do your thing, people. Shout out to every other warriors fighting. Shout out to the process service. I, Southern Biker 55. Peace to you, my brother. Okay? Again, no offense was made. Wasn't trying to offend nobody. You got a job to do, and more power to you. We all got jobs to do. I got a job to do. I serve process too. Sometimes. So, it's a hard world, man. It's tough. And then, you got these third-party interveners, these interlopers, always trying to get a piece of the pie and jump into this, ring with the average folk and hurt them and take, their monies and their liberties away illegitimately, illegally, and unconstitutionally. That's going to stop right now. I had enough of that. So I'm fighting back. Win, lose, or draw. It's on. So y'all have a good night. God bless y'all. Peace to the gods.